I am debunking some of the things that sometimes people think that I do. And what I've realised is nobody actually knows what on earth I do. And if they do know what I do, it's not what they think I do. So I thought I'd just explain a little bit in case what I do is something that you want or something that you need. So I've just run a retreat this weekend, and one of the ladies actually thought that this retreat was going to be bubble baths and a bit of gentle walking and all self-care things, self-love things. And actually the reality is very, very different. So I'm interested to know, I'm curious to know if you want to write in the comments what you think self-love is. What is self-love? Because it might just be something very different to what you think. And so I put in the title, it's not all bubble baths, it's not all crystals and holding hands. It is that as well, and that is part of the bonus of what I do. I make it all lovely, but it's not actually what I do. So what I actually do is the deep inner work. And you might have heard people talking about this, which is the self-work, the deep inner work, the deepest layer. And for that, it takes some guidance sometimes, it takes some magic, it takes a bit. So when people arrive on my retreats, they've often taken a big leap of faith because I don't tell people exactly what they're going to be doing. But when they arrive, they soon find out. So I'm going to give you a little insight into the retreat. If you've ever wanted to come on a retreat, pop in the comments, retreat. If you've been on a retreat, put been on a retreat. I'm curious to know. And also, what was your experience? It's all for ladies, so they all arrive on the first night with no idea what to expect. Some of them are super scared, super nervous. It's a big comfort zone push. Sometimes people message me the day before being like, oh my God, I've made the wrong decision. I shouldn't have done this. It's too much for me. And I have to kind of be like, well, you've made this big step already. Just come along and see how you go. And talk them into coming, some of them. And then on the first day, everyone's super nervous. A lot of people are emotional. They don't know what to expect. And on the first night, what we do is a big clearing. So it's all about clearing space. And this means in lots of different layers. So I guide everyone through a massive clearing. And this can be super emotional. The first couple of days, if it's a longer one, we are all about clearing. We're clearing the path. We're getting really clear of what we don't need, what we're leaving behind, what doesn't serve us. And this can be habits, patterns, foods, places, people, old cords that connect us that actually don't serve us anymore. And often people haven't ever thought of this. So it's a big step. Sometimes people have, but they've not been willing to let it go, or it's too painful, or whatever it is. So we do this big clearing and letting go ceremony on the first night. And then the next morning can be very emotional because we've almost got a void inside of ourselves where those things used to be. And so you might think, well, how are you actually doing that? And yeah, it is in a symbolic way. But believe me, I've had people throw things out that they've not needed. And 6 months later, I've seen them and said, oh, how are you going with that one thing that was really troubling you? And they're like, oh, I threw that out that night and it's not been a problem for me since. It's very, very powerful. And especially in a group like that, when we've got a very strong intention, we're all there for the same reason. Everyone there is there to do this deep inner work. And when everyone's doing it, it's almost like you're all super accountable to each other. Some things that get shared have never, ever been shared, maybe even with yourself. So there might be something that hearing other people share their depths, their deepest secrets, their, scary things that have happened to them, painful things that have happened to them. And when they do, it can jog you to remember something in your deepest, darkest depths that you've maybe been locking in a cupboard or putting in a box for many, many years. And some people have been doing this. I have 60-year-old women, I have 50-year-old women, I have 40-year-old women, I have 20-year-old women. So some people have had these things in a box for 50 years, 40 years, 30 years. And at the retreat is the first time that they actually share it. And we're in a very safe space to do that. And so that's the first thing. And believe me, if you've got something like kind of like a skeleton in the closet that you've had hiding in there for a decent amount of time, just sharing it with a bunch of strangers who really care how you feel and really care, you know, that you heal from this. They don't care what the thing is. That's the thing. Like, to you it's super important, and it's not diminishing what that is in any way. But to everyone else, they don't care what it is that has happened. They just care that you get it up and out and release it and start to feel better. So as you can probably imagine, that in itself is a game changer for some. And then the next day, it's all about what do we actually want to bring in. Feel free to write your personal account in the comments, because it really does help other people to feel confident to take a leap of faith. And it really is a bit scary and a bit of a leap to go on something like this. Like I say, it's not all bubble baths, it's not all crystals. They're the pictures you maybe see of the gorgeous giant baths and the crystal healing circles and singing and dancing. Yeah, that's part of it. But the deepest part is the deep psychological inner work that changes it. It's not just like a motivational retreat. It's not just like a healthy thing. It's not just a nice time to have a break. It's like deep transformational inner work that after the retreat is a game changer for some, for most. And people months, years after these things are still messaging me saying like, that was like pivotal in my life. Yeah, so the next day we do like a calling in ceremony. So it's all like, if you don't know what you want in your life or how you want to feel, it's very difficult to get it. You're basically stabbing in the dark. And so we do a lot of work around giving yourself permission to have really what you want in your life. When we give ourselves permission and you have the proper guidance and also everyone's doing it together, you can sometimes think of things, and I take people through a process for this. It's not just like, what do you want? Because obviously people, if you don't know what you want and someone asks you what you want, it's actually just really annoying, or it is for me. So I take people through a series of processes to try to like get out of the mind into the body and figure out actually what it is that they want in their life, like how they want to feel. And then the key here is kind of showing them how that they're worthy of it. And so when we let go of a lot of these things and then we have a vision, we start to just kind of see how things can be different. And also at the same time, other women in the room will be having breakthroughs or being like, oh my God, I've just realized for years and years and years, I've felt like I could never do that. And I've just realized it's only me stopping me from doing it. And this is where we become empowered, because honestly, we are the only person driving or guiding this skin suit around the world, wherever we want, and nobody else is going to do it. It's only us. And I keep asking people, who has the power to change this? And everyone goes, me. And I'm like, who else? And they're like, nobody. And it's all about empowering ourselves to see every single choice we make, even though in the past may have been influenced by what happened to us as children, some terrible, awful, tragic things that have happened that should never happen to children. But until a certain age, we might have been in victim mode, and that is so normal, of course. But when we get to adulthood, we can use that as our biggest power. And it's when we realise that our pain is our power, or we can turn our trauma into dharma, like I did. It's when we realise that we actually always have a choice as an adult, and that's where the empowerment comes from. And when people start to click onto this, it's literally a game changer. And I hear this in many retreats over and over again. I hear ladies saying, can it actually be that simple? So it's not easy, but it is actually simple, because once we realize that we're empowered, that's our choice to be empowered, and we actually can choose how we feel about ourselves. So we can't choose what happens on the outside world, no. But we can always choose what happens on our inside world. We're the only ones that has control of how we feel about ourselves. We're the only one who has control of how we react to something. And we're the only one who has control of what we decide to think. And when we realise that, it's like, boom, light bulb. So obviously there's a series of events that leads up, clearing the path, realising the vision, realising that we're actually, worthiness is an inside job. We've all got it already, just most of us are disconnected. And when we realise that, it's literally a game changer. And so people in the room start to wake up and start to realise and start to ask for more and want more and visualise more. And it's just this magical process. And so the whole time there's all sorts of sharing and healing, and we do a huge circle around body image and all these steps that are in my 12-step self-love transformation. So that's my 8-week course. It's each week you get a new module. It takes you through all these steps. So if you've never done any self-love work before, or if you've never learned some of these powerful concepts that make people literally pivot in their life and be, do, and have more, feel better, like not just like motivate themselves, not just like upgrade, but like transform, pivot completely, like I did in my life. That's exactly what happened to me. It's exactly what happens to ladies. So if you're not getting the results you want in your life in any area, I gave a big workshop at the retreat about money mindset, which on the feedback forms, a lot of the ladies have put like, wow, I didn't know any of that, and I'm so excited to put some of it into place. And actually one of the bonuses on the 12 steps course is a money mindset bonus with workbook and everything. So if you find it hard to either make money or keep money, honestly, money and self-love is kind of the same. It is the same energy. If you change your relationship with yourself, if you change your relationship with and get connect with self-love, you will make more money. That is a given. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to many of my clients. So we're working on the relationship. The biggest relationship is the one with ourselves. Our relationship with food, our relationship with exercise, our relationship with men, women, whatever, whoever you like, our relationship with business, our relationship with the world, with Mother Earth, our relationship with money. They're all copying each other. And sometimes people are great in lots of areas and terrible in one. So obviously that's something we can work on. But the 12 steps course covers everything. And many people, when they start learning about self-love and about manifesting and create vision boards and all the things that I love to teach and do, immediately get things come through. And anyone who's been on a retreat will tell you it is deep. It is the deepest layer. It's the parts within us that we've locked away from ourselves and everyone forever that we unearth. And that is not always nice. It feels healing, but it's not always pleasant. And it's deep, it's freaking intense. It's probably the most intense thing. It's out of the comfort zone, but everyone is all in. Everyone's safe. Everyone's loving. Everyone's there for the same reason. And it is super powerful. So I've been getting messages all today just being like, wow, I had no idea what I'd signed up to, and I got so much more than I bargained for, but it was the best move ever. When we're leaving, everyone's like, I feel like I could tell you lot absolutely anything. You're like my soul sisters, more than my friends I've known for 20 years. because everyone's on that same wavelength. I've just felt like cosmic all day and super happy and super inspired and really lucky and honoured as well. So it's a ripple effect as well. Doing something like this is totally selfful. Everyone in your family will benefit, your friends. Basically, I always say, if one of my friends gets a new coach, we all get a new coach, because she then shares what she learns with us and we have our own realizations. Let's inspire more people to do this. We need everyone on board if we're going to change this world. And we really are going to change this world. It's already changing. I feel, so good. So I wanted to share that with you all. Thank you for watching, everyone. Mwah.